Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift, delivered at the perfect time, courtesy of the universe through the language of synchronicity. This is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I have posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that might give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, before this reading, I did a bit of a meditation, and these are the two cards coming out for the underlying energy. Whoops, I'm going to do the tarot one first. For the underlying energy for this reading. And we have the Six of Pentacles. Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. And so this big part of that is money, of course. So the element is the element is earth. And this is about earthly matters. And of course, we need a lot of money to be able to enjoy earth. And it's a big part of it. Having said that, we could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that we want to live if we don't have love and we don't have our health. So this is talking more about lifestyle. And so this is talking about, this card, the Six of Pentacles, is talking about having sown seeds to have a good lifestyle, putting the work in, the time, the money, and the energy, investing it into a project, a business, or whatever this is, and having enough to feel that you feel like you can give to charity. So this person is giving to this person, but he has the scales of justice above the head of this person. And the scales of justice are here because he's using his discernment. He's learning how to give and take, and he wants a fair exchange for his time, money, and energy. And he perceives that this person already has what he needs. And look at in his pocket here, he does have something in his pocket. So it's saying that, this person would rather risk this person's money than risk his own, and is making money off this person's back. And he's like, no, I'm not accepting that. I won't do that. And then we have attachment. So attachment is a karmic space. A lot of people will talk about about karma as it's punishment, but actually karma is cause and effect for your actions and sometimes for your inactions. You could have direct karma from directly doing something to someone and or causing someone suffering intentionally or unintentionally, actually. And that could even be also if you can see someone is suffering and you could do something to stop that suffering, and you can see they're innocent or a victim of something and you do nothing, that also causes karma. Indirect karma is the same energy, but this could involve maybe your ancestors were unable to finish their business before they crossed the veil. And so then someone in the bloodline has to take on the duty basically to clear that energy up for them. They can no longer do it from the spiritual realm. And this can be, as I said, ancestors. Sometimes it can be descendants. It could be people that you associate with, like in your work, friends, family. That's, people that you have associations with. And then there's the karmic spaces. And the karmic spaces are about anyone can fall into these karmic spaces, and attachment is actually the mother of all attachment. This painting is a painting from the Oracle, Tales from the Vector. I started this back in 2007, and in 2020 I completed all 64 paintings. And this is from a series of 25 paintings of visions that I had when I was in Peru in ceremony with shamans. And so this energy is talking about what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. So if we get attached to other people's shift, then we can end up being in a place where we'll do anything to keep it. And so quite often that can be the mother of all of the karmic spaces, becoming so attached to someone or something that, we start breaking other rules just to keep it. And So this underlying energy, I feel this is talking about, this reading is talking about that attachment, that we can fall into this space where we're so attached to something that we maybe think it's okay to take from someone else, rather than doing the work ourselves, something to that effect. And we have coming out a leader. So this is talking about someone who has, the wands represent the element of fire. They're made of wood because wood fuels fire, and it's talking about taking passionate action. So this is talking about this person has come victorious. So this is a collective energy being victorious in battle. Or competition, that type of, something you've won, basically. And the reason you've won and shown yourself to be a leader is, look how proud this person is because you've learned how to rein in your emotions and discipline your mind so that you make strong choices. And so let's say this was a job promotion, the people in the back here also took actions to get that promotion. But you clearly came out the leader, and some of them might be a little bit disgruntled, but they have to admit that you were the most likely one to get the position because you were the one who came out as the leader, due to your ability to be in control of yourself when there was stress around. And then we have this page of wands. So the page of wands is representing information or communication coming in. This can be about something someone or something that you're passionate about. Again, this is taking passionate action. The pages would work for the king and queen at a very young age, around 7 to 14. By today's standards, it was young. But back then, there was, life expectancy was only half of what it is now. So this was not, average age, and depending on how mature someone was. But it would be a real coup, a feather in the cap, to be able to get this position at the palace, because this person's living a much better lifestyle. He's dressed in finery, and his main occupation would be to deliver messages back and forth to the communication throughout the palace. And of course, that would be in person, because that was the only form of communication that they had. He might also do tasks and run errands, etc. So when this card shows up, it's not saying that someone has to show up in person and hand you something. This is talking about, it could be a phone call, it could be a text message, it could be email, maybe something that arrives in the post or delivery at your door. There could be an energy of maybe you're on social media, one of the many platforms, and someone messages you. Or maybe you go to an event posted there and then you run into someone and it's like, woohoo, we're passionate. It's the perfect person to bump into for that information. Sometimes because of that, if the pages were doing a really good job and they were still there, and they would continue to be given more and more responsibility. And by the time they were 21, an adult, if they could afford a horse, sometimes they would even be considered to be put up for knighthood. So this energy can be talking about someone, information coming in about someone or something that happened when you were maybe in elementary school, high school, starting out in college, that, stepping out into the world at that time. It could be maybe someone that you haven't seen for 7 years, 14 years, 21 years. It's that type of information might be valuable to you. This could be also about someone that was, of that age. And this energy is also talking about being very optimistic. This page of wands, he's got a feather in his cap. As I said, he's dressed to the nines. The pyramids in the background there represent him ready to explore the world and being passionate about it and wanting to find out, about life and about the world and explore. And this energy, sometimes this can just be a gift of passion for life again, being enthusiastic and optimistic about life and excited to get up in the morning and, hey, I get to start another day. And so sometimes that can be the communication coming in. This energy, one thing you have to consider about it is that, you know, the Page of Wands, he's very focused on his wand, and he loves, you know, he's looking up to it. And so you have to keep in mind that this is, you know, think of a masculine energy around 20 or under. And, you know, quite often he is thinking with his little head. So sometimes when his information comes in, it's very passionate, but it's not necessarily realistic or 100% accurate. So you have to always double check that the information is that. All right, we have the Tower coming in. So a tower is representing when someone, your intuition has been trying to get your attention, but you haven't been able to catch it. And so this will be, the universe will start by whispering to you, hey, you might want to take care of that, but you don't listen. So then, you know, you get the frying pan treatment, whack over the head, and you're like, what? Why would you do that? Why did that happen? That hurt. And the universe is like, yeah, that's nothing. If you keep going in the direction you're going in, there's something you need to take a look at. But the 2x4 hits and you still don't notice. And then whack, whack, like here we go. We have the lightning bolt hitting the tower. This is saying now it's on fire. Your castle's on fire. People are falling out of it. One of the people falling out here looks really shocked, and the other one looks like, ugh, I knew I should have taken care of this. So this is a reality check. And so this is talking about paying attention to what's going on in your life and making sure that you see things clearly. That the reality that, you know, this is saying you're not living in a true reality here. There's something you're missing, and it's important. If you nip this in the bud, then usually it doesn't have to become a tower like this where you have to rebuild everything. But you know, we're human and we don't always catch it. And so this energy is talking about, you know, the tower is always like, it's uncomfortable for everybody involved in it. It's a major, you know, shift, and it always happens when you're least expecting it, and it's just really like bang, you know, and it's like, okay, now you have to deal with it. And then we have this energy of the Magician. The Magician is talking about an energetic upgrade. This is about taking your thoughts, bringing them as above from heaven down to earth, and being able to manifest them and create a beautiful garden on earth. You're at 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. And you have all the tools you need. You just need to learn how to use them properly. And also you need to use the right tool in the right place. He also has an Ouroboros around his waist, which is talking about this idea of attachment. The attachment is when you're attached to to something, you know, you need to shed your skin sometimes. The Ouroboros is a snake that's biting the tail. And in 2025 was basically the year of the snake in the Chinese horoscope. And we moved into, in February 17th of 2026, we moved into the year of the fiery horse energy from the snake energy. So if you didn't shed what you need to shed from 2025, you're going to be shedding it, because it's like, that's what a snake does. And it's talking about not hanging on to shift from the past, or being attached to things that no longer serve you, or that really you have no business being attached to. And so it's not part of maybe your destined plan. And we have the Queen of Cups showing up. So the Queen of Cups energy, she's one of 4 queens in the minor arcana of the tarot. And she is considered to be like this is like someone who would be in a traditional marriage, someone that's marriage material. She is, you know, faithful usually, and she is like wants to be like a family person, a mother, a very maternal instinct. she has a cup of love that's huge. Like her main concern is her family and the presentation of her family. You know, like she's most likely, as I said, to be in a traditional marriage. She has a lid on her cup here. This lid on her cup is talking about like her family is like it's like a trophy for her. And she is also a container of unconditional love. This is the most maternal of all of the queens. And sometimes this energy can represent your maternal bloodline. It also is the card for me that represents something coming up about DNA. This could be an energy of also, you know, fostering children and maybe even adoption, that sort of energy. And we'll just see. It sometimes comes up when she shows up, or this could be talking about some love coming into your life, some unconditional love. And then we have the Fool. Yes, there's definitely something coming in here. We have the Fool starting out on a new journey. And the Fool is representing the beginning of a new cycle. It means that this cycle has ended down here. So the first row here, I'm building a small pyramid here, and the first row is talking about, okay, this is what's going on. So this, you've come out of a situation, a clear leader, because of your ability to contain your emotions and to discipline your mind and, you know, be able to handle, like, get your shift together in stressful situations. And there's some sort of information coming in regarding that. And then this is talking about a tower has happened. Now, this may not be a tower in your life, but it's a tower in someone's life. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be someone that you know or know of. It could be just that their tower involves you in some way. And then we have the Magician. And, you know, this is going to improve your lifestyle. Get you out of, sometimes this can represent breadcrumbing energy, like not getting paid as much as you should be, or not living the lifestyle that you were meant to live. And so this is talking possibly about some love coming in, and it could also be talking about your maternal line. These are the, and this is talking about a new cycle happening because you were able to handle these obstacles. Now you're on a new cycle. You've learned everything that you can about this. So that when the Fool starts a new cycle, he's taking a leap of faith. And it's talking about having, like, as the Magician is saying, you need to shed your skin and let go of anything, any attachment that's no longer suitable for you, or it's going to end up causing problems in your new cycle. And he has some attachments because he has a little bit of baggage here, but not much. And his sleeves here are tattered. And so that is representing that he has been on a cycle in the past. And so it's not like you're starting from brand new, but this is a brand new cycle. You are taking what you've learned from the last cycles and putting it into this one to be an even better version of yourself. Taking a leap of faith that this new cycle is going to be just awesome. And that's what and this is sitting right on having this enthusiastic optimism for life. And I feel like the tower that has hit here has established you as a leader of some sort in something, and it's also talking about new opportunities, a new cycle coming in. It's a huge energetic upgrade. It could involve love. And then we have, yes, it's already happening. So this is talking about these wands have been launched already. They're already in the air. If you think about the Sagittarius energy, the centaur, shooting the arrows into the celestial sky, this is talking like that, toon, 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 in the bat, and hits the target. And exactly when it's supposed to, it's been launched with this new cycle and possibly with this tower. And that could be love, or it could be something about your maternal bloodline. And because sometimes this represents conception. And I mean, like, conception of an adventure, conception of a project, of a new project you're working on possibly, but it can also be conception of a baby. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles coming in. So the Knight of Pentacles now is coming in, and he is talking about this pentacle energy, what's happened here. Because it looks like someone is looking at your lifestyle and your money. They're attached to it. What's yours is mine, but what's mine is mine. So it is a one-way attachment. And this is a web of deceit that they've gotten themselves talked into here. That's why this is the mother of all attachments. And then that could be talking about someone in your maternal line is in this energy. This is, the information is coming in from that, and the Knight of Pentacles is again bringing in this information in the many ways that we discussed that the page can do. And the thing about the Knight of Pentacles is this is the slowest moving knight out of them all. He's at a standstill. Like, it's so annoying. It's sometimes like, it's like if you've been waiting for information to come in, it can be really, really, really irritating because it takes forever. And you're wondering, am I ever going to find out what happened here? And but the good news is, like, his horse is at a standstill because sometimes he has to have a board meeting with himself just to brush his teeth. But the good news is, because he's very analytically critical, he has researched this pentacle to the best of his knowledge. And so when he brings this offer in, it's generally like, substantial. It's real. It's something that he's looked into. You can usually count on the information. It's not going to be come in as passionately as this, but it definitely is going to be something that he's looked into. And this is talking about moving off to calmer waters from rough waters, something that happened in your childhood. I feel like there's a reason why there's these two, like we have the Fool coming in with this new energy, and then which is talking about this enthusiasm for a new cycle. And this card can be representing having, like, being in chaotic energy. Rough water represents volatile emotions and wanting to have some sort of answers here. Quite often the swords will represent the truth. And this is this is from the element of air. And air is about your thoughts. And so this can represent your mind and discipline of your mind. This energy, why this person has become victorious. Because you're able to discipline your mind and, feel with your heart as well. So it's like you're able to turn your mind off instead of getting into a loop and getting that attached to an idea without really looking into it properly. When you're passionate about something, sometimes that's when this energy, the passion steps in, and it's kind of, you get attached to that person, that project, that whatever it is, and then you can only see it in a certain way. And so this is talking about pushing off from the rough water and floating your boat into calmer shores. This is wanting to heal quite often your inner child energy, something that happened in your childhood. It's sitting on your the maternal energy here. So something that unknown, that a truth that you want to have the answers to from your childhood. And this person is how the conveyor is having to really shove off with this long pole and dig deep into the mud here to push out of these rough waters. Rough waters represent volatile emotion and chaotic energy. And so this could be something about your childhood that you don't know. And quite often, as I said, this maybe your mother had, a dalliance I'm getting with someone, she is maybe you don't know. This has been coming up. The DNA, these days, there's so many, like with the DNA testing that they can do, there's so many ways of finding out, down the road that, hey, your mother, before she settled down, maybe was a little bit on the wild side or something like that. So this energy, or there could be many things, many reasons why this is. It could have been something that happened to her that wasn't of her desire either. So this is talking about healing that inner child energy, partly by getting the truth of the situation. And this is about saying, like asking God, like meditation and prayer, to please bring this energy in so I can understand what's going on here. And then we have, once you find out this energy, you'll know what you know, and you have conviction beyond a doubt that of what direction to take. You see, once you know the truth about yourself, then you can actually make really strong decisions. If you don't know the truth about your childhood, or it's hard to know who you are. And we'll see that a lot if you ever watch Paternity Court at all. It's quite fascinating to watch the different people that come through there and all the different reasons why there could be a question as to someone's paternity. There's so many reasons why, and how emotional it is for them to find out, where they actually come from. And so this is talking about, now that you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt that this is the path that you want to take. This person is protecting his heart with this wand, and there's 7 here. So this could represent these people in the background that were taking action maybe against you, but now you're standing your ground because you understand you understand exactly what you were fighting for. Maybe here you didn't know what you were fighting for. You didn't know all the facts. Now you do. And you notice this, we have a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. And so this is, the boot and the shoe on one foot or the other can sometimes talk about being caught in between two realities, like just finding out some information that took a long time to come in, probably about your childhood and possibly about your DNA. And now you're sort of straddled between those two worlds. But because you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt the route that you're going to take. And this could be the actions of other people around you that are that maybe knew about it and didn't want you to know for whatever reason. Sometimes this energy can represent walking in someone else's shoes, and that could be like literally that someone was walking in your shoes, like copycat energy, identity theft, forgery, that sort of energy. But now that you know what you know, you'll be able to rectify whatever had happened. If your reputation or whatever they did with your name, pretending to be you, that you can maybe now, stand your ground and stand up for yourself. So that energy from, one thing I wanted to look at here is the magician, because the magician is pointing to as above, so below. So he's pointing to this maternal energy and something about your childhood that you need to know. And once you know that, then you're really going to be able to come to your infinite potential, and going on to meditate and pray so that you can find out what this is. If your mother, like your maternal line, if, they've passed on, there could have been something that your mother may have told you at some time, or a clue or something, and we do have conception of a baby here. So this could be some sort of information, maybe that would be, that's coming in. We have, you having victory about some sort of conception. The information took forever to come in, but now you're able to stand your ground. And this could talk about something passionate happening between someone that put them on and it was a reality check, in the old days, if this could be a very serious thing if a person was, had a baby, was pregnant with someone else's child, and that it was not like these days where it was, more accepted, I guess. It could be a major issue in someone's life, and also for the family. So I'm just going to clarify this for those of you who want further clarification. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy. Thank you very much for your likes and comments and subscribes. I really appreciate it. It's helping me build my channel. I'm going to clarify now with the oracle cards. And so we have use your insight. I'm just going to explain. The numbers on these cards are representing the paintings in the gallery. And so this, the numbers are how they're listed in the gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. I will, in the description box below, I'll list them in the order they appear here. So it might give you a little more information if you're interested in looking at it. This is talking about using your insight, being insightful. And this is, using your third eye, so using intuition and logic. There's some sort of disruption, and it's basically saying what's fun for some is not fun for everyone. I was seeing some sort of energy here that this maternal energy may not have, she may have been attacked or something like that and ended up pregnant. I'm getting something like that. I feel like it was something like that. And so that's why I'm saying, this may have been well hidden within the family. Nobody wants to talk about it. That it doesn't have to be that. This could be about a business. This could be about a lot of things. But I'm just picking that energy up for someone. And then we have this Virgo energy. This is so funny. This happened in the last reading. I have a page here with duct tape on the wall. And it's interesting because the page, it just fell off the wall, and I just put it up there, and it's just, it has some lists of things I don't want to forget when I'm doing my readings. And so this page, the page energy here, it's something about causing a disruption. This page actually fell down again while I was doing the reading. And the last reading I just did, it fell down. And I just put it back up there. So I don't know. I'm going to have to get better tape, I guess. So this is talking about the Virgo energy. This can be talking about using, analytical critique when you're researching things like the Knight of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. The Knight of Pentacles energy is about pentacles, and so is Virgo. This is about communication, though, and being able to contribute. Virgo energy is very good at analytical critique. They're good at seeing things that are out of order and putting them, like knowing, okay, this is how we can put it back into order. That's how their minds work. They have a tendency to be... the analytical critique can sometimes turn into anal criticism, generally about themselves first and foremost, but that's kind of how they approach themselves, and they tend to sometimes forget that other people don't really, are not inspired by their anal criticism. Let me put it to you that way. But it still is valuable information but this is basically saying, be careful how you talk to yourself. You don't want to be too hard on yourself, and you don't want to be like, you want to have that analytical critique. It's really important, because that's how you end up falling down this attachment energy. And I just want to point out that when my horoscope signs show up in a collective reading like this, I am not talking about specific individuals at all. I'm talking about the sign itself. In your reading, there could be a Virgo involved. It doesn't, it could be so, but I want you to understand that's not my goal here. That's not what I'm pointing out. What I'm pointing out is the communication needs to be clear within yourself. And cleanliness is next to godliness. So, and for whatever reason, the passion of this page, this could have been something that happened. It was an encounter. And use your intuition about this. This is talking about using your intuition and your insight as well as your logic. With this analytical critique, you might be able to come to some sort of conclusions here and be able to check them out. And then we have the sun coming in. So the sun is saying, basically, I'm just getting that right away. God is saying, you are a child of God. You're meant to be happy. This is the happiest card in the deck. It's saying the sun is shining light upon you. It might have been a disruption in your mother's life, but every child is a gift, and you're a gift no matter what. You're not an accident. There are no accidents. God is the one that is in charge of babies, basically, even the ones that are made in test tubes. And then we have indifference. So yes, that's the problem. When you become attached, there's some sort of indifference here for like not telling you the truth for some reason of something. Now, it doesn't have to be about this DNA thing. That could be for some people. This could be about business partners. This could be about family members. This could be about a lover or something, something that happened when they were younger that they just haven't been able to tell you about. And so indifference is another karmic space that we can fall into. And, if we get attached, that indifference can show up for sure, because that's when, oh, we're all in it together. But really, the progress, you're not making the same progress they are. You know what I'm saying when it comes to this? And there's a reason for it. And the reason is because they're attached to something that is yours. It says right here, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. So it's a one-way street. So indifference is when we don't care about the suffering we cause others, because we get so attached to something that we'll do anything to hang on to it, that person, that place, that thing. All right. And it's saying, don't do that. It's a dangerous place. It can take you pretty far down the rabbit hole. All right. I do hope you've enjoyed this and that it's been a benefit from you. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, and thank you so much for subscribing. I'm honored when you do so. And I will be back with another random shift reading soon. Bye for now.